Ricky Shelton, Mayor of Cookeville.
And how long have you been our mayor?
Since August of 2014.
Okay, awesome. Now, of course, we're here to talk about Leisure Services,
Yes.
our 30th anniversary. It's very exciting. Is there a Leisure Services event that stands out most in your mind?
Well, when I ran for mayor, I wanted to start a 4th of July celebration and a Christmas celebration, and in conjunction with Leisure Services, we were able to start that in the summer of 2015 for the 4th of July, and then the fall of December of 2015 for a Christmas event. So those are the two. They have turned into two really wonderful events to go along with all the other great events that we have here in Cookeville that their Leisure Services are such a huge part of.
What are you most proud of in the department's accomplishments?
Dogwood Park would probably be the thing that comes most to mind. I remember I was on the council, served from 2002 to 2010, and we purchased the property that became that we now have as our great Dogwood Park. And one of the main things I wanted to make sure it had was a water feature, and that certainly turned into a premier piece here in Cookeville that we are able to kind of brings together the west side and the courthouse area, and so we're just very, very proud of that and what that's become.
Absolutely. As far as the Cookeville community is concerned, what projects or what have you seen Leisure Services do to bring that community together?
Well, that's exactly, it makes our community great. The quality of life issues, that's one of the top things on people's mind. It really makes your community great to have a great things for our citizens and our visitors as they come to town to do. And Leisure Services is such an integral part of that. Having the parks and the services that are provided, both in our leisure activities, the cultural arts, the Depot Museum, all these things together, the History Museum that we're in now. So all those things together just is really what makes your community great.
What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with the city?
Wow, it's again, we continue to add inventory to this thing we call Leisure Services / quality of life, and we're going to continue to do that. And I think as we continue to grow, one of the things that I've been most trying to make sure that we accomplish is we're going to grow because of our position between Nashville and Knoxville, but to make sure that we maintain that small town feel and to make sure that families are having things to do. And that was one of the cruxes of my service here as mayor, is making sure that people are able to do things here that they don't have to go to other cities for. And that hasn't always been the case, but with Leisure Services really heading up and being the back-end support of all these things, whether it's movies in the park, or now we have all the programming at the rec center, again, the Depot Museum, the History Museum, all of our parks, Cane Creek, Dogwood, all these others, and now we have the rail trail. We've added the mountain bike trail at the park. So we continue to add all these things, and it's just more reason for people not only to enjoy that they live here now, but people want to move here because of all these great things that we have going on.
Absolutely, we agree. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services in the future?
A lot of excitement on the horizon. We just recently have been talking, we've been talking for a little while actually about a potential for a water park or an aquatics facility, and just recently did we had a tour of some municipally owned facilities around the state and put that on my Facebook page. It's reached over 200,000 people. It is the absolute number one thing that people want for our area. It will obviously be an integral part of Leisure Services because they will be the facilitator of that. Whatever that ends up looking like in the next 2 or 3 years, some type of either indoor, outdoor, or just the water park, or maybe in phases. But I see that as probably the number one thing coming down the pipe. The earliest we could do that is April of 2019, if everything fell into place. But a lot of things have to go in, the planning, the design, the budgeting, and all those kind of things. But it's absolutely through, we had an Envision Cookeville process, which was a planning process that Councilman Henry helped coordinate, and that was one of the things that came out in that is one of the number one quality of life issues was to have a water park that people didn't have to go away for. So we're very, very excited about that, and that's on the horizon. more additions to Dogwood Park, more additions to Cane Creek Park, all those types of things. We've got the amphitheater here where we continue to host concerts and movies in the park, and the Depot Museum. I think we'll continue to see it grow, especially with what's happening downtown with the potential for a convention center, and that's going to create more visitors to that area. So it's very, very exciting. We're very, very happy. It's leisure services. I think it's one of those things you don't realize how much they do and how important it really is in the fabric of the community. It's kind of integrated into everything that touches, but it's those feel-good things, and that's why sometimes you can't wrap your hand all around what exactly do they do, but it's very, very important.
Well, and I think that a lot of people in town don't realize how far-reaching leisure services is. So I think that it'll be great for people to see these conversations and to come see this exhibit that will be running through the end of September. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Very excited to be here, and thanks so much for all that Leisure Services has done and will continue to do for our community.
I'm Rick Woods. I'm Director of Leisure Services and Public Facilities for the City of Cookeville, and we're celebrating our 30th anniversary, and I've been here for all of them. All 30 years. I started with the department in 1987, right when the department was created. I was the Cultural Arts Superintendent for 13 years, up until 2000. And then I became the director of the department in 2000, and I've been director since then. And I'm fortunate to be where I am and glad to be where I am. I've got the greatest job in the city of Cookeville.
All right. Which leisure services event stands out the most to you, Rick?
Oh, I can't pick one. There's no way I can pick just one. There's so many terrific, wonderful events that staff members put together and that our department has done over the years. I will say, I guess, in trying to answer that, I will say that, Father-Daughter Date Night is something that's been going on almost since the very beginning and has grown and grown and grown and grown over the years. So that is one of the events that I think is associated with leisure services and kind of defines our department and parallels the growth that our department has seen over the years. So that one stands out to me, but so many other events. The Backstage Series, Trauma Center, or now Backstage, CPAC Backstage series has been going on. This is the 25th anniversary for it, so that stands out to me. I love the Cemetery Walk. I absolutely love the Cemetery Walk. I love Storyfest. We do so many wonderful, wonderful things, wonderful events, and it's just so hard to say that's my favorite or that's my favorite. Events that we used to do that we don't do anymore for one reason or another. The Haunted Forest, the Enchanted Kingdom, the Kite Festival, community band concerts, which we do now. But that's something, the whole development of that and the events that happen in Dogwood Park. Just so many wonderful, wonderful things that I can't pick one.
I think that you're right, and I think the community would agree. What are you most proud of in the department? What are you most proud of?
Oh gosh, Beth, most proud of the people that make it happen. The staff, the members, the folks who work every day to make those wonderful events and happen, and the facilities, the quality that they are, the programs, the classes. It's the people that really make that happen. That's what I think we as a community can take pride in. It's not any specific thing, certainly nothing that I've done, but the whole the camaraderie that we have as a staff and as a department. It's just, that's what's most special to me, and I guess what I'm most proud of. Not that I had anything really in developing that, but it's just we have folks that have been here for many, many years. The longevity, the commitment, the dedication, the loyalty of staff members. That's probably what I'm most proud of, if you can say that's being proud. I don't know. That's what I'm happiest about.
Well, and it makes such a positive impact on the community. And what do you think are the biggest impacts on the community that Leisure Services makes?
Leisure Services, we do so many wonderful things at affordable prices, and many, 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 many things are free, and they're quality, they're well done, and so the staff makes sure of that. We're very active, very busy. I think in terms of facilities, I think you'd have to look at, in recent years, the development of Dogwood Park and what that brought. Just the whole development, the whole story of Dogwood Park is just fascinating. When it started out just as a small little 1 acre park, linear kind of park that just a small parcel in the heart of town, and but at that beginning it was the Rotary Club donating the money to do the walkway, the Home Builders Association donating and building, actually constructing the gazebo, the Cookeville or Cumberland Rose Society or Putnam County Rose Society, the local Rose Society donating and maintaining the beautiful rose garden, and they still do that. The seed money for that was donated by Russell Stover Candies at the time and the Ward Foundation. That's how the lamppost, the cityscape lamppost. So it was a community project to get that first little piece of Dogwood Park put together. And then we started doing concerts down there, and that led to, hey, let's build a permanent performance pavilion. And the community raised money to build the performance pavilion. And what happened then? We created the community band. The Bryan Symphony Orchestra had a permanent outdoor performance venue. We created Shakespeare in the Park because we had a venue. We had some place to do it. So the Sundays in the Park concerts back then moved to Dogwood Park on a permanent basis. Now the third Thursday concerts. So the activity, the development of Dogwood Park in its initial phases, and because of all those concerts and all that activity down there at the Performance Pavilion, people would get up and leave and head out to the parking lot and say, "Oh, isn't that ugly? Wouldn't it be nice if we could? Wouldn't it be nice if we could expand this park and extend the park and get rid of Cotton Eye Joe's?" And sure enough, we did that, and now it's a beautiful. It's an incredible downtown asset, an oasis in the middle of the downtown area with the fountain and all the activity we get there, and just the beauty of the park. And then later we come along with another community project to build the community build playground, the Heart of the City playground. So it's really been just a great story that the entire community has been involved from the very beginning of the development of Dogwood Park. It's just been amazing. It's been wonderful and a huge impact on this community.
Well, and I remember getting married in that little gazebo in 1999, and that park has changed tremendously since then.
It has.
I also remember doing the first year of Shakespeare in the Park when we had to compete with the Cotton Eye Joe noise and in the cars, and so it's wonderful to not have
that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with Leisure Services?
I just think it's growth. It's probably, when the department was created in 1987, it was brand new. It was a new department. We had 4 parks. We have 10 parks now. We have about 330 acres of parkland now. We had, I think, 9 staff members, and now we have, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but we have about 40 full-time and part-time staff members, year-round staff members, plus we almost double that with seasonal employees. So it's just the growth, the amazing things that have happened since that time, just We didn't have a rec center then, we didn't have a gymnasium then. Again, we only had 4 parks. It's just the growth that we've seen over the years of the department. I think that's the biggest change. I don't think there's been a change in operation. There's not been a huge change in personnel. Again, we've had very loyal, very dedicated, very committed people. So it's been growth of the department partly because of the growth of the programs that we do and the quality of the programs and events and special activities that we do.
What do you expect to see from Leisure Services coming up in the future?
Continued growth, and I think it's very. I think our staff does a good job of listening and being attentive to the needs in the community and to the requests in the community. And we've done a pretty good job of that in our planning processes. So in our master land use plans, for example, for Cane Creek Park and for Parkview Park, we've listened to what the community said. We're in the process of starting to develop a skate park over at Parkview. I anticipate that we will be developing a dog park at Cane Creek Park and a new facilities and new amenities at Cane Creek Park, a new parking area, perhaps some new picnic shelters as well in the very near future. I know that there's an aquatics facility being talked about quite a bit, and we're excited about that opportunity. So I see that there's going to be more growth and more opportunities for additional amenities to our facilities, and we're excited about that. I'm excited about that.
It is exciting.
We have great people to make that happen too.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else to add?
No! Happy birthday, Leisure Services. It's been fun. I've enjoyed, again, I think I have the best job anywhere, and I've enjoyed the 30 years, and I hope I can hang on for a few more.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Crier. I'm the athletic superintendent for Cookeville Leisure Services. I started back in the May of 1999, and I've been in that position ever since.
All right, thank you for being here. Which Leisure Services event stands out most in your mind?
Probably one that wasn't work related was, I think it was 99, and right after I started, or maybe a year, Leisure Services decided to get together for a family picnic. And that was great. Not only did you see your fellow workers, but you saw their families, kids, spouses, girlfriends, whatever. And we had a cookout, potluck, lunch, and we played different games. The kids did, the adults did, and it was really a great day to mingle with everyone. The other thing that stands out was, see how my memory is, about 2 months after I started, Leisure Services hosted the World Tournament for softball, and the whole staff got involved. All the way from the directors to all the maintenance and everyone that was full-time at that point got involved in that program. And again, it was couple weeks after I got here. We just had a great time, and it was one of our largest tournaments we had, and it was just a kind of a fun time. The whole staff working together and pulled off a 3-day, I think it was about 40-some teams were here. It was just a fun time.
Wow, that sounds like fun. What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
I think one thing that I'm probably most proud of is we've been able to expand. Not only were we able to expand facilities, but we were able to expand program people, and we were also able to expand staff. And it all worked out really well. Probably our first expansion here was our added 2 fields to our youth sportsplex right next door. And then down the road, of course, we added the brand new gymnasium. And along with that came seven new staff members. And here at the Sportsplex has always had 2 full-time, myself and Connie Clark. But the maintenance staff here, because of the expansion, has grown to 6 seasonals plus 2 full-time people. So it's quite an accomplishment, and we're proud of that. Not only do we expand the facilities, but we expanded programs, and we expanded in staff. So.
That's great. What positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community?
I think the big thing is not only do we take care of our own, but because of a lot of the events we run, particularly here at the Sportsplex, we have a lot of out-of-town people. And those all come in for not only the games, not only the events, but a lot of them stay all night. A lot of them use our hotels, they use our gas, they use our restaurants. And I think that's an accomplishment. Leisure services, in my opinion, is accommodating the locals, and on special events, we're accommodating outside.
That's so true. I don't know if a lot of people realize how many people come in for these tournaments.
Exactly, you know, and we do, and we as a staff, we obviously, Cookeville, we concentrate on Cookeville people for our programming. But we have to remember, many events that we run also attract others.
Isn't that great? It gives us an opportunity to showcase our town for all these other folks.
Sure.
So that's great. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with leisure services?
I think it's probably what I had mentioned earlier, staff. It's really grown. I mean, I can remember going to our all-hands meetings and walking up front, and our division had about 6. Now there's 20 probably. I haven't counted them lately. And again, the facilities. The facilities are growing with the special needs of the community.
What do you expect to see from leisure services in the future?
I think just trying to expand, and not expand to the point where you get, I hate the word, burned out, but to the point where you're trying and willing to try different activities for different age groups, for different people, for everything. Right now, fortunately, I think Leisure Services is covering everyone from 6 years old to seniors. And believe me, that's a big scope, but I think we're doing a good job at it. And I think we need to continue to try to do that good job. And again, look at new and exciting facilities, programs that'll meet the future.
Absolutely, I agree. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Just that I've enjoyed what I'm doing. I'm kind of getting to those golden years, as some people refer to that. But it'll be a hard decision finally to make, to give up something that has been athletic since I was day one. And I enjoy being around people and in an athletic environment. So it'll kind of be a little bit hard to say, well, it's time to move on, Jim. But I still enjoy it. I enjoy athletics and enjoy people. And it's the perfect place right now.
That's great. That's what I've heard over and over from people is, wow, we have so much fun at work.
Exactly.
And isn't that great? It's such a blessing to have that.
It is. And it's fun programming different events, programs for different people with different interests.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate that, and congratulations, Cookeville Leisure Services.
Yeah.
I'm Janice Myers. My position was the administrative assistant in the administrative office, and I was there from the beginning. I was the second employee hired for the department.
That's cool. Which leisure services event stands out most in your mind?
Well, these are older events that stand out most, and because I was kind of there initially, was Haunted Forest, the Adventure Race. Those were such fun events, and it helped us to, we were kind of in with the community doing those events. But you know, father-daughter has been with us forever, and it's grown, it's so popular, but those are the ones that kind of stand out for me that were a very positive thing for the department.
Great. What are you most proud of in the department's accomplishments?
Well, I think because sometimes we didn't always have the resources we need, and the fact that we still made things happen. We worked hard. We got the community involved. I mean, we had fundraisers. I mean, the community kind of did a lot of things on their own. We had a great maintenance staff that just made things happen, and we worked hard and still made things happen, even though, you know, it wasn't always easy. You know, we applied for grants and did things that weren't necessarily, we didn't think was possible, but
The little department that could.
that's right.
That's great. What positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community?
Well, you know, in the beginning, we kind of had a hard time making a connection necessarily of what we were, getting the word out. And I think now the community kind of looks at us as, you know, when they see events happening, they think, oh, that's a leisure services. We're the event department. So that was, I think, a good positive change in things that the community now looks for us to do things. And I think it was a good thing.
Absolutely. What are the biggest changes you've seen since the beginning of leisure services?
Well, first of all, it's staff. Just the growth in the staff, all the facilities that that's happened since the beginning. I look back and I'm thinking, you know, they were very slow sometimes in happening, but I look now and think, oh my gosh, you know, there's been a lot happening. All those changes. It's you know, it's been kind of amazing, but yeah, just the growth in the department, all the parks and everything that's happened.
I agree. There's been amazing growth in
It
this
has.
department.
And you know, you think 30 years is a long time, but gosh, some of it was kind of slow going, but we made it happen.
Yes, you did. What do you expect to see from leisure services in the future?
Well, I continue to see them growing, just to continue doing positive things in the community. I think you know, with the great staff that are there, I just think it will continue growing. Like everyone else, I'd like to see an aquatics facility to happen. You know, maybe more green space and walking trails, but that will happen. Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else to add, Janice?
I do. I worked there from the beginning, and I had great staff. I enjoyed coming into work every day. A lot of people made me laugh. You know, it was a fun environment, and you know, people came to see us because they wanted to, not because they had to pay a bill or pay taxes, do whatever. They came to us because they wanted to. So it was just a fun environment, and I miss those people. I miss that's the part I really missed, was the people. We had great staff.
We miss you too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in to
You're
talk to us
welcome.
today.
Yes, thank you so much.
My name is Dennis Woolbright. I'm the park manager of Cane Creek Park, and I've been here 25 years this coming November.
Hey, and I'm Ed Hollingsworth, and I'm the assistant park manager, and I've been here 17 years.
That is great. That's funny because Dennis just said, well, I haven't been here this long. And they said, I've been here 25 years.
Yeah.
Which leisure services event, Dennis, stands out most in your mind?
I always enjoyed the Enchanted Kingdom and the Haunted Forest that we done.
Yeah, those were really great. I remember bringing my son to the Enchanted Kingdom when he was little. That was a lot of fun. What about you, Ed?
Well, I tell you, one of the events that we have is the father and daughter date night. That's something that whenever my daughter was, and I was cool then, wanting to go with me, you know, we would go to it and had a pretty big time, yeah. So that's a special time event, a special time, yeah.
What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments here at the park, Ed? What are you most proud of?
Well, I'm just proud of all the improvements we've made, the additions that we've added onto the park, the disc golf, and just the new things that we've got coming to the park. We really are expanding.
Yeah, the new mountain bike trail.
The new mountain bike trail, right? Exactly.
Yep, there's some new maybe parking in the plans and
Right.
things
And
like
a dog
that.
park.
And a dog park, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
right.
What about you, Dennis? What are you most proud of here at Cane Creek Park?
I'm just proud that the city has a park of this caliber to come to. And a lot of the cities in the state of Tennessee don't have this.
Yeah, you're right.
And we offer a lot of stuff down here, from picnics to paddle boat riding to get disc golf to walking, bicycling. It's a great place to come.
It is a great place to come, and you guys are so lucky you get to spend your days here. That's just
It's awesome. I
that's-
love my job.
it's awesome. What positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community, Dennis?
Well, if those that remember Brad Chambers, he always wanted a rec center and a gymnasium. Rick was been blessed to be the director during this time, and now we have it, and that's a big asset, as well as the softball fields that was built over there. And I mean, look at the History Museum, the way it's expanded, and I think our department is always looking for other ways to bring new stuff to the community.
Yep, that's so true. What about you, Ed?
Well, some of the things come to my mind is the classes and the events that we have to offer, the dance classes, all the things over at the rec center that they have to offer. I think that's really a good thing for our community. It gets the community involved in different events that we are putting on and holding. So I think that's a great thing. Yeah.
Yes. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with leisure services, Ed?
Well, I guess it just really goes back to the growth. I tell you, 17 years ago when I started, we just got so many new facilities. Dogwood Park, we've got the new playground next to Dogwood, and it's just more and more coming. I would have to say the growth of the facilities that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great thing.
What about you, Dennis? What are the biggest changes you've seen?
I think the personnel. We've really grown over the years since I've been here. I mean, it seemed like when I first started, they was just a handful, and then we got a little bit more and more and more, and I just think we accomplish more every year.
Yeah, and it's amazing what gets done with, I mean, even now with the big staff that we have, there's so much that gets done. So,
And we're blessed to have a maintenance department that can pretty well build anything they set their mind to.
well, isn't that true? Yeah, that's right. What do you expect to see from leisure services coming up in the future, Dennis?
And I hope that they look at expanding the park more down here. Like you mentioned, more parking lots. I'd like to see down the road, I probably won't be here, but I'd like to see a shelter big enough for the churches to come to be able to use.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about the water aquatics, which might go in over here next to the softball and the gymnasium. It's just a lot of things in the talk and in the making.
Yeah. What about you, Ed? What do you expect to see?
Well, the water park is a big thing that I would like to see us have, because we need it so bad. There's not really a good place here in Cookeville. A lot of people have to travel to McMinnville, sad to say, but hey, we're growing and things is looking up, and we've got a lot going on.
That's right.
It's good stuff.
30
all the way around.
years,
30
look
years.
what has happened. What's going to happen in the next 30?
And I'm just thankful to be part of it. Really,
Yeah.
really and truly, it's great.
Well, we're glad that you guys are here at Cane Creek Park, and you do such an awesome job, and we're just so happy to have this park and to have you guys. And so thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right.
You're welcome.
My name is Judy Duke, and I was the museum's manager, administrator, clean toilets type person for the museums that the city owned, and I worked for the city for 16 years.
All right. Which leisure services event stands out most in your mind?
Well, I remember when leisure services first started, and there's always been neat things that have been done for the Cookeville community and the surrounding areas, but I would be amiss if I didn't say that I think one of the neat things that leisure services has done was through the Historical Arts Division, where we did the candlelight cemetery walks. And that seemed to be quite successful the years that we did that every other fall. And we always sold out, and it makes a little bit of money, but the crowds are, we have to limit the crowds, which, you know, we didn't make as much money. But I think that's one of the neatest things. Plus, I also think what the Cookeville Performing Arts part of Leisure Services, you know, everybody has the thing they want to do. And I, those that interest me the most, obviously, is what I'm going to be what I am talking about. But I think that I love Shakespeare in the Park, the Backstage series. I've participated in that more than once, and that's a neat thing. But then what the girls do down at Cane Creek Park, and what girls meaning Kira Sheets and her family, and then you know, everybody has their thing, but I think Leisure Services is quite an asset to the Cookeville community.
What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
I guess I would have to say was the creation of the Cookeville History Museum, because Cookeville did not have a museum, and there were lots of interested folks who were behind the creation of the Cookeville History Museum. I can recall discussing what the name of the museum was going to be, and we had one board member who just insisted that it be called the Millennium Museum, but that didn't win. it was one that was in the running, but it did not. Obviously, we decided to call it the Cookeville History Museum, and I've kind of wondered if that was the right name for it, actually, since its inception. But I think that's probably one of the grandest things that the Leisure Services Division of the Historical Arts has done.
What positive effects have you seen Leisure Services make on the Cookeville community?
Many. I think we offer something that a lot of towns our size perhaps do not have, something I'm really excited about in the future. And you may be asking me this later, but I think, and have thought for a long time, that Cookeville needs a water park or an aquatics park or whatever you want to call it, because there's all this other stuff. There's the Historical Arts Division, there's the Performing Arts at the CPAC, there's what Mildred Garrett has done for so many years, offering classes in many different areas, and what Kira and her staff do recreationally down at Cane Creek Rec Center. And then, of course, the Sportsplex. Oh my goodness, that brings in many folks here to the Cookeville and the surrounding area. So we offer such a wide variety of things that I dare say there's not a personal living that couldn't find something, whether it's learning how to operate a camera or performing in front of people or looking at all those old artifacts.
That's our favorite, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with Leisure Services?
The broadening interest, at trying to make the good life better, which is what we hear every year as staff members of Leisure Services. And I believe that we, as staff, as city employees under Leisure Services, we do try to make the good life better. And you know, we seem to keep growing. Leisure Services seems to keep growing and adding additional fun things, if you will, or many other interests. So I think that's probably has allowed the Leisure Services Department to make it to 30 years. And that's a neat thing.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services in the future?
An aquatic center.
I think a lot of people have said that. I agree.
I
yes.
do. And I think also that there's still things that we could broaden that we don't have here, and that would certainly be one. And I do recognize, as much as I can possibly recognize it without having walked it or lived it or whatever, that having an aquatic center would be very time consuming and expensive project. But I think now they're, in addition, well, that's not a done deal yet, but in addition, the skate park has been something that's been talked about for a number of years, and as we all know, the wheels of government sometimes move very slowly. Of course, I would like to see a new building for the History Museum. The depot's that's a different animal. The depot is the artifact. The building itself is the artifact, and you have certainly, in the position that you have when I retired and you took over as museums manager, for the two Cookeville-owned museums, everybody has their vision of what they want to do or see happen, and ours, you expanded on what mine had been, and you expanded with a lot of neat stuff like the train tales on Friday, and at the depot for children, the preschoolers and their moms, and you've done a lot of other things, and now I know that you're looking at doing some things on the outside of the depot that will make it even prettier, and I'd like to see a new building for the Cookeville History Museum, although I think the location, you hear that all the time, and I do think that's very important, and I think that it would be great to level this building and build a bigger one, because I know that the History Museum here has storage areas all over town with big artifacts that are priceless, with nobody being able to see them. And that's unfortunate, but you can only show what you have room for. And you're out of room.
Yep.
Here.
That's true. Do you have anything else to add today, Judy?
I'm very proud that you and your staff, Pam and Ashley, are recognizing the Leisure Services Department. I miss it. I don't miss working every day, but I do miss seeing the people. And I come down every now and then to the museum and have a cup of coffee and chit-chat with your staff and you, which has been very dear to me. And I'm very proud of what you all are continuing to do, and will support you 100%. May even, one of these days for too long, be a docent.
Wouldn't that
volunteer.
be great to see Judy's face here at the museum
Well, I
on a
don't
regular
know.
basis?
I don't know, but I'm just, I think it's great that you all are recognizing this department, which is the youngest in the city as far as services that the city does for the community. So I'm just very proud of it, and I will go to my grave, that being one of the highlights of my life. Thanks for interviewing me.
Thank you for being here today, Judy.
Thank you.
My name's Steve Loftus. I've been with Leisure Services for 20 years. I am the supervisor / foreman for Parkview Maintenance and Facilities.
Okay, which leisure services event stands out most in your mind?
The cemetery walk. That's the one that I think I enjoy the most, because it's new people who have helped establish the city of Cookeville, and it's always something new and refreshing every year.
Well, I agree. I think it's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
The amount of facilities that we've been able to build since I've been here, and be able to have a hand in building each one of them. And we, over the years, me and one of my coworkers, Ralph we've done 99% of the electrical work in those, so we're real proud of that.
Wow. What positive effects have you seen Leisure Services make on the Cookeville community?
More activities for adults and children to be involved in, especially family events like Slide Cookeville, the Christmas in the park that we have now, and especially like the cemetery walk. Lets kids know about the history of Cookeville, and then the haunted walk downtown for the kids to be able to come out and learn a little more about the city. And I guess the park, Dogwood Park itself, gives all the families a chance to come together, and gives the parents a place to relax and enjoy being outside, plus it gives the kids something to do as far as entertains them, as far as the fountain and then the new playground we have.
Now, what are the biggest changes you've seen within Leisure Services in your time with the department?
The growth of the department. When I started here, there was only I think there was 5 maintenance workers at that time, and we had only 5 guys that worked in parks maintenance. And now at my shop we have 8 full-time employees, and we have a second shift that we didn't have before. And then I have 7 seasonals that we work during the summer, which we never did when we first started 20 years ago.
Wow, that's a lot of growth.
Yes.
What do you expect to see from Leisure Services in the future?
I think that the department itself, as far as manpower, will have to expand, but due to the events that we're growing and establishing in the department, I think we'll end up having to probably, hate to say it, but probably end up putting more people on second shift to have more people on staff later on in the nights, just during regular 8 to 5 business hours. And if they build the swimming pool, which they're talking about, or the aquatics facility, that will be something that I think that would benefit the department plus the community also.
All right, thank you.
Hey there, I'm Kara Sheets. I'm the Recreation Superintendent for Leisure Services, and I've been working for the department for about 17 or 18 years.
I'm Jen Webb, and I'm the Special Programs Coordinator, and I started with Leisure Services as a counselor with our day camp program in 2001.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for meeting with me today. And I'm going to ask you, which Leisure Services event stands out most in your mind? Jen, we'll start with you.
Ooh, that's a tough one. We do so many special events here at the Rec Center, so I'd say after I had children, our lunch with Santa was a pretty good one.
Kara?
It'd be easy to say father-daughter date night, but I'm going to go rogue. And I'm going to say some of our things here at the Rec Center. We did some Fit Frenzies where we had a lot of people come in. They were interested in taking different classes, taking classes they'd never taken before. And so that was pretty fun. Those are always good.
It sounds like fun. What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments, Kara?
For me, it's this rec center. We have just come from nothing. There was nothing here, and we were, ping-ponging back and forth to several different facilities. You had us at Jefferson Avenue, and then we went over to the old August School. And so now, when we first opened here back in 2005, it was kind of a ghost town. People didn't know about it yet. Our programs were just starting. We had a few basics. And now it's turned into a hub of leisure services. We don't just have people coming here for classes and programs. We have people coming in from the park. They're asking, what is this place? Where, I've never been here. It's so wonderful. They come in to cool off. They come in and learn about all of our programs, whether it's, something with cultural arts or athletics. So really this facility and what it's turned into, it's one of my most proud moments.
Well, and you should be proud. It's really beautiful. How about you, Jen?
Well, I'm a little biased to the fitness program, so I'm just how much it's grown. We have 40 classes a week now with 24 plus instructors, so we're able to serve a lot of people to take exercise classes.
Wow, that's great. What positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community, at the department as a whole? Jen?
Well, continuing on the fitness classes, there are so many people who would never take a group fitness class or just are intimidated by exercising in general, and they come in here because we provide such the camaraderie and it's a great environment to make new friends, to bring your friends, and it's just a lot of fun. We're really laid back. It's affordable, so it's been really cool to watch.
Well, and that is a big deal, to be open and welcoming so everyone feels comfortable and at home. So that's great. How about you, Kara?
There's something for everybody. If fitness isn't your thing, maybe historical stuff is, or maybe it's theater, or maybe it's athletics, or Tai Chi, or dance. There's something for everybody. Maybe watching movies, old movies is your thing, or listening to people out there picking on the banjo. There's just so many things that I'm sure any person could find something they're interested in. There's something through leisure services that's going to touch everyone.
And what are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with the department, Kara?
Well, we were joking about this kind of earlier. Well, there used to be a Cotton Eye Joe, and now it's a playground, so that was huge. We've just had so much growth. I mean, there's just been so many things that have gotten bigger, added on to. The whole time I've been working here, it's been nothing but change. We've gone from a tiny little camp program to this huge, massive program where we've had to just cut back people. And we've signed up everybody. We filled up in less than 2 days this year. So it's just, the whole time I've been working has been constant change, and everything's been for the better. It's just change upon change. That's all it's been, which is good.
What about you, Jen?
Well, the camp program, I was gonna bring that up, that we started with 30 kids when I started as a counselor in 2001, and like she said, in 2 days we have 125 registered and have to go on a waiting list. So
Wow.
It's been really amazing how much that program alone has grown. So
That's awesome. All right, ladies, here's the big question. What do you expect to see from leisure services in the future?
Just more amazing things. I feel like we do a really good job of keeping up with today's trends, what the people want, and so I just expect to see more of that just throughout the years. You guys did a great job. I'm bragging on you for a minute with your escape room stuff. That's such a new and fun thing. So I expect that, just to keep up with what people want, what the community needs. That's what I see.
flying cars. Like we just got our minivan, and I see us having a flying car.
You probably won't be long at all.
Just around
And I'm going to
Tesla
fly
busy on
right
that.
over to the aquatics facility.
Yeah.
Do you all have anything to add? Anything else you want to say?
No, it's been a blast. I mean, not only do we work with the community, and that's just so much fun, and you just can't get enough of that. We love that. But we've just, in the other employees, we've become friends. We've become better than just co-workers, and that's been fun. Just I can think back to all the people we've worked with here, in maintenance, at CPAC, just everywhere. and we've made such good friends and so many, able to touch so many lives, just touched our life and other people's. So that's been cool.
It's been really fun doing these interviews, hearing all the different perspectives.
I'm sure.
People that are kind of in front of what's happening, some people that are more behind the scenes. Everyone has their own viewpoint of, and it's this team, it's such a great team.
Yeah.
So, thank you all.
I never get bored of work. We sure don't. Yeah.
No
It's
days
something
the
new
same.
all the time.
Yeah.
Lots of hats.
Lots of hats. Yeah. Let's go get some other hats on. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all the hats you wear.
All right.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
My name is Dwight Henry.
Okay, and what's your position with the city?
I serve on the Cookville City Council.
Okay, and how long have you been with the council?
Well, my first term was 1985 to 88 when I served as mayor, and then I served again on city council between 98 and 2002, and this term started 3 years ago. So this is my third term, and I will have completed like 11 years when this one's over.
All right, now we're here to talk about the Department of Leisure Services. So what leisure services event stands out most in your mind?
I really could name several, but if I had to identify one, it would probably have to be the Daddy-Daughter Valentine's Gathering. I attended the very first one back in the mid-'80s with my young daughter at the time. It was held at Tennessee Tech. There was like 20 couples in a little small room, and it's grown now to 4 nights and hundreds of people. So I could talk about a lot of them certainly, but that one I guess is the most memorable for me personally, and to see how it's grown in a community.
Excellent. Now, what are you most proud of in the Department of Leisure Services accomplishments?
I guess across the board, how it really has enhanced the quality of life in our community. If you're talking about plays, if you're talking about concerts, if you're talking about movies, if you're talking about classes, I mean, it has added so much. Being there at the beginning and watching it back in the mid-'80s, recreation was basically softball. And now Leisure Services is taking it to a whole nother level. So I guess the accomplishment would have to be just the quality of life it's added in all those activities and opportunities for our community.
Well, and you kind of answered our next question, but maybe you could expound on it a little bit. What positive effects have you seen Leisure Services make on the Cookville community?
There's so many things that families can do together. There's so many and opportunities that don't cost anything. I'm thinking about Dogwood Park, and you've got movies in the summertime. You've got movies at the depot. You've got concerts almost every week. And these are things that everybody, whether you're small children or grandparents or parents, can come together and enjoy quality entertainment, a quality night, quality event for zero cost. I mean, how do you beat that?
It truly is the meaning of community.
Yeah,
and isn't that
absolutely.
great?
It has caused us to bond on lots of levels.
Now, you've seen this department grow, like as you said, from its very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest changes you've seen in that time?
Well, we've come from this whole department. We went through a process in the mid-'80s called Cookville Tomorrow Design for Change. We had about 10 working committees that worked real hard for weeks and weeks and weeks, basically determined where we were as a city, where we wanted to go, and how we wanted to get there. We had like 110 recommendations that came forward out of those work groups. And at the top of the list was develop a well-rounded program of recreation, and this number 2 was hire a professional to run those. And so we came from that, basically offering softball and maybe a park or two along the way, to what it is now. And so it's just the way that it's grown, and it's been such an impact on the community, and the community has really wrapped itself around the offerings of leisure services. It's really something we can all be proud of.
Excellent. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services in the future?
Oh my goodness. We have got, right now, we've got a grant for a skate park that we're moving through. We took a trip just last week as we record this to 3 communities who have aquatic facilities that we certainly hope to pursue as a council, and hopefully the next council. So, and of course, continuing to enhance all that we're doing now. But those are the 2 major things that literally are on the horizon that could be available under the umbrella of Leisure Services.
Cool. Do you have anything else to add, Dwight?
Oh, there's a lot I could add. But we've only got 10 minutes, right?
Well, you've got as much time as you want.
I would say this, and I'll try to be concise about it. I was went through this process, Cookeville tomorrow. I got a call at the end of that process from Pascagoula, Mississippi, which I didn't think was a real town at the time. They come back and said, "This is the mayor of Pascagoula, Mississippi." I thought it was a song that Ray Stevens wrote. Remember that song where he referred to Pascagoula? I said, "You are not." He said, "Yeah, I am." So I said, "Well, how can I help you?" And he said, "Well, you went through this process. Would you come? We're going through a similar process, a planning process in Pascagoula. Would you come and talk to our group about it?" A couple hundred people from the chamber. So I flew out there and addressed that group and talked to them about what we'd accomplished and how we did it. And I mentioned the leisure services program, the Daddy-Daughter Dance, and I talked about a lot of other things too. And I opened the floor for questions at the end of my comments, at the end of my presentation. And I'm telling you, 60% of the questions had to do with that Daddy-Daughter event, and that so it shouldn't have surprised me about how that's grown over time. But they wanted to know more about that than anything else, and I guess that still stands out in my memory after all this time.
I'm Chad McDonald. I'm the Cultural Arts Superintendent, and I've been with the city since 1992.
All right. Thank you for talking with me today, Chad.
It's my pleasure.
Which leisure services event stands out most in your mind?
I would think, when I started in 92, the biggest event the department was doing then was the Haunted Forest. And Enchanted Kingdom was part of that. And the reason that stands out in my mind is that it took the whole department to put on that event. It was a family event out at King Creek Park. The Haunted Forest really appealed to adults and teenagers, and the Enchanted Kingdom was more for smaller kids. But what stands out about that event in my mind is the whole department was involved, so it was a team building type of event. And it was an event that appealed to the whole family, and it was a big community event. So that's kind of colored what I've done since then in the department. We kind of want to make all of our events family events and big community events. So that's really what stands out in my early years in the department. Of course, we have big events going on now too, but I would say back at the beginning that was the one that stands out the most.
Okay. What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
Well, in the Cultural Arts Division, we have a lot of events. Just the sheer number of events we can provide for the community is what I'm proud of, that we're able to do that with the limited staff we have. We have lots of events in Dogwood Park, at the Performing Arts Center, at the History and Depot Museum. All those events are produced with limited staff, and I'm proud of those. A lot of those events have gained state, regional, national awards, and so they're quality events, we know, and that's what I'm most proud of.
Absolutely. And what positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community?
I think the expansion of green spaces, such as the expansion of Dogwood Park, the addition of additional parks within the city. King Creek Park is another big park that citizens take advantage of. We've also added some facilities since I've been here, like the History Museum and the King Creek Recreation Center and Gymnasium, and the community really uses those. And it's, I think that's the biggest impact we've had on the community, is providing those green spaces and recreational spaces.
Yes, and that certainly makes our city attractive to people coming in from out of town. And what are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with leisure services?
I would say the increase in the number of employees that the department has, which is sort of a function of the expanded facilities and expanded programming. But the additional facilities and green spaces and the number of employees, that's the biggest changes. And of course, just the number of events we're involved in. Everything from Christmas in the Park to Shakespeare in the Park to Story Fest to Cemetery Walk, all of those things within our division. Now that's just our division. We have lots of events that take place at the Recreation Center and the Sportsplex, which are that also require additional employees and help.
Mm-hmm. All right. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services coming up in the future?
Just continued expansion of services for the citizens of Cookeville, and the aquatics facility is on the horizon right now, and that will be a big addition to the offerings that we can give the citizens of Cookeville, and I hope that happens sooner rather than later. But and just continuing the events and programs that we have now, and keeping the quality of those high, and especially keeping everything we can free. A lot of the things we do are free for the community, so keeping those events at the highest quality and adding new events and facilities as we go along. And I think the community will really enjoy that.
We benefit from so much
Yes.
from this department, and absolutely the free events. Having Shakespeare in the Park for free, you don't see that very often.
Right.
And Story Fest and events of that caliber. So
You're exactly right.
it's fabulous. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, I just like to say I really like working for the department. I've always liked working for the department. It's a job I like coming to because you're doing something different every day when you come in, and it's a privilege to be able to serve the city and to be able to provide quality events and programs for the citizens.
All right. Thank you so much, and happy birthday, Leisure Services.
Yes, thank you.
Mike Davidson. I've been with the city for 20 years, and I'm currently the city manager. Prior to that, I was the finance director for 12 years, and just slightly before that, about 6 years as the assistant finance director.
Okay. Thank you for agreeing to answer some questions for us today in the great 30-year anniversary for our Leisure Services Department.
Yeah, it's exciting for the department, exciting
Very
for the
exciting.
city.
Yes. So which Leisure Services event stands out most in your mind?
In my mind, oh, wow, there's so many different events, but I think one of them that I've enjoyed the most over the years, and I haven't done it the last couple of years, but is father-daughter date night. It's a special time that I got to spend with my two girls. We did that, attended those events, those dances for, I don't know, several years in a row, and at times both of them together, which made it even more special for me. They've kind of grown up now, a little older. They both have boyfriends, so Dad doesn't get all the time that he would like to spend with them any longer. But that's one of the special events that I recalled from Leisure Services is the father-daughter date night.
It is hugely popular.
It is.
We've heard a
It's
lot
just
of
a great
people.
event.
Yeah, it really is. What are you most proud of in the department's accomplishments?
Oh, wow. I think just bringing people together over the last few years, all the different events in the beautiful Dogwood Park that we have downtown, all the events and just the whole community coming together to participate and enjoy those events, whether it's a concert in, community band or a concert in the park. It's just fantastic in how they brought everybody together to enjoy those type of events.
What positive effects have you seen Leisure Services make on the Cookeville community?
Again, those same things I just mentioned, just bringing everybody together. I think it's great for the community that it is a real community atmosphere and that everybody spends time together in those events, enjoy those type of activities, and just being able to do that and provide those opportunities for the community to come together and spend time with one another and enjoy the music, the movies, whatever it might be.
And so much of it free. It's
it is.
So
I mean,
incredible.
Where can you find such wonderful things to do? It doesn't cost you anything. We've got a great atmosphere, whether in Dogwood Park or at Cane Creek Park. Just a great, wonderful venue for events like that. And where else can you do that for free?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with the city?
Oh, biggest changes. It's just grown. The city has grown. Many, many more people in the city, and everyone asking and wanting more things to do. And Leisure Services has provided that, whether it's CPAC, our History Museum, our Depot Museum, events again in Dogwood Park and how that changed the landscape of downtown. When we took out the shopping center that once existed where Dogwood Park is, people just can't imagine, and remember back what it used to look like compared to what it is today, and just how the landscape of downtown changed when Dogwood Park was built.
It's hard to remember a time when that flagship green space was not there.
No, it is.
And it's so wonderful to have that.
It is, and it's just fantastic for Cookeville, and I can't imagine it today without Dogwood Park being there.
Yes, I agree. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services coming up in the future?
Oh, I'm excited. I hope. We've talked about different things. I know Leisure Services has gone through a master land use plan looking at Cane Creek Park, looking at the Parkview ball field, the Parkview Park. One of those things that came out of the Cane Creek land use plan was the potential for a water park. Recently we've looked at the possibility of doing that. We've talked about it for a number of years. I think that was one of the things that came out of Envision Cookeville as well. So we know in the land use plan that we have space available at Cane Creek. So I'm hopeful that one day maybe we'll have a water park for the community and the residents of the Upper Cumberland to enjoy. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will work out for everyone. I'm excited about that. Looking forward to the change, see what happens at Parkview Pool. We closed that 10 years ago. And
Wow.
It's hard to imagine it's been 10 years since Leisure Services, we had to close that pool. It was just old and needed to be renovated, but very expensive to do that. But now it looks like we're going to have a skate park there, have a grant. I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops and the use out there, and see how people enjoy that as well.
It's exciting. A lot of things on the horizon. Do you have anything else to add?
No, just it's a great department. Thankful for everyone, all the staff that work there. It's amazing at all the different things they provide to the folks in Cookeville, and everybody just enjoys being a part of Leisure Services. I certainly am. Enjoy the events and look forward to many, many more years of working with Leisure Services.
Well, thank you. And we, just the multi-level support that everyone has in this town, from the top all the way on down. And it's great to have all that support for our department. And we all work together so well. And it's just great to have you as part of our team. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you.
Hi, my name is Rick Garrison. I've worked for Leisure Services for going on 15 years. I've started work at Public Works and got promoted over to the cemetery, so I'm a cemetery manager now. Enjoy my job, and I enjoy working for Leisure Services.
Excellent. Thank you for agreeing to talk with us today. Which Leisure Services event stands out most in your mind?
Well, of course, working here at the cemetery walk would. But I enjoy a lot of them. I like the Fall Fun Fest. I work it. I never go to it, but I can see why the public would like it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. But of course, cemetery walk's best.
Yeah, we agree with that.
Okay.
What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
Well, probably since I've been here, I've seen Dogwood Park coming, and Dogwood Park, I think, is a huge accomplishment for the city. And I think it's a very nice park. My grandchildren live in Nashville. When they come up here, they want to go through that park. So I think it's very neat. I like all the events that's there. But that's just one of many. There's a lot.
What positive effects have you seen Leisure Services make on the Cookeville community?
Well, a lot. I've seen a lot. I have a lot of people come in here and tell me about how much they enjoy Leisure Services and what all the parks that we have. Of course, the big talk now is the pool, the aquatics. Everybody's excited about that. I hear a lot of people talk about that. Yeah. Believe it or not, inside the cemetery, when people come, they talk about Leisure Services a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
All right. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with Leisure Services?
Wow, probably the growth in our division. The more events that we sponsor, I've seen more events come around Probably just the growth in the employees that's grown with it.
Would you expect to see from leisure services coming up in the future?
Well, of course, aquatics. That's what we talked about, and the skateboard. But I think the aquatics is gonna be a huge thing for Cookeville. I hear people talking about it. My daughter even talked about it in Nashville, and some of the people that's from Cookeville that she's still friends with has already heard about it.
Wow!
So I think it's going to be huge.
That's
I think
good.
it's going to be huge.
That'll be fun, won't it?
It will be. It will be. It'll be neat.
All right. Well, I know we all want to wish Leisure Services a happy 30th birthday.
Of course.
Is there anything else you want to add, Rick?
No, not really. I appreciate you girls coming over here. Like I said, I probably wouldn't want to be in any other department but this one. And I ain't just saying that, Rick. I'm not just saying that for a raise. I mean it. It's a good department. I like it.
We're lucky.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Mildred Baird. I have been working with the City of Cookeville for a total of 35 years. It will be 35 years the very 1st of July. And I have been working with the Department of Leisure Services since the beginning. I think I was hired around maybe the second week, and I was the second person to be hired for the administrative office, with Janice Myers being the first person, as far as I remember.
Awesome. And what's your position?
I am the recreation coordinator or recreation programmer.
Okay. Which leisure services event stands out most in your mind, Mildred?
Oh, there are so many of them. I think the very first one was Father-Daughter Date Night, which when we first began, we were trying to make a decision as to whether it would be called Daddy-Daughter Date Night or Father-Daughter Date Night. And we finally decided on Father-Daughter Date Night. Wow, that's been a long time ago.
It's been 30 years, right?
It's been 30 years. It was a lot of fun, and I originated that program and headed it up for the next probably 9 years. Started out with 50 people, I remember.
Wow.
And the last time it was 300 plus.
Wow.
Held at the Holiday Inn. We began the program with Tennessee Tech in the President's Lounge. So that just tells you how much the program has grown.
Yeah, it really has. What are you most proud of in your division's accomplishments?
Oh, there are so many things. Wow, where do I start? I work with people that come up with lots of ideas, including your department, Beth. I'm proud of all the programming that we do, the diversity of everything. We have offered so many programs, and when we first began our department, they were new programs. So that's a hard question to answer. I'm pretty much proud of just about everything we do.
I am too. I agree. What positive effects have you seen leisure services make on the Cookeville community?
Well, I guess I'll repeat myself. When we first began our department, there are a lot of programs that are going on now that were not in place. But our department's added parks, I'll say again, programs, special events, numerous recreation activities.
And so many free, it's so great, or a nominal fee like here at the rec center. So that's so great for the community as a whole.
Right, we do have numerous free and really low-cost programs, especially when you compare our fees with some other activities or programs in other cities and states.
Mm-hmm. What are the biggest changes you've seen in your time with leisure services?
Well, we keep adding programs, activities, and the way we network. When I started with the department, networking was mostly done with the Yellow Pages, so the telephone book. I did attend some conferences, national for playground programs. I don't want to leave that out either. We, after the West End Community Center was no longer there, we did do a playground program, and our playground programs went from West End, Parkview Park. There's another park. We were at 3 different locations with our playground programs, and we did have one facility before we were done, which now houses the police department on Pine Street.
Excellent. What do you expect to see from Leisure Services in the future?
I expect to see entities, other classes, programs, special events, and green spaces. I think with the way the city is growing, we will just become larger in our department. And if anybody has any questions, I would suggest just watching our Facebook page and keep an eye on what the mayor is doing also.
Do you have anything else to add today, Mildred?
No. I would like to say thank you, and I have enjoyed working here with the Recreation Department. I mean, it's work, but it's also been a lot of fun. It has given me the opportunity to meet numerous people in all walks of life. And I also would like to add that without the university, which was also like a great resource for our department, we held classes and programs there, everything from father-daughter date night to hunter safety classes, how to write a screenplay, Black history, and more. So the university has been a great asset.
It has. That's so true, and that's a good point to make, Mildred.
Yes.
And yours is such a familiar face within Leisure Services for the last 30 years, and I appreciate you agreeing to chat with me today. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth.